Okay. Uh, Hello, welcome. This is my video for Artificer Xy'mox Mythic. Um, so for this boss, I do recommend you play Fire of some kind. I played Nightfall Kindling on Progress. I think being able to send everything on cooldown and just have damage at most parts of the fight is quite good when you're learning and haven't really had enough time to study the boss. I do recommend Ventir if you're progressing the boss today. I think it's enough further ahead. And Nightfall you might be able to snipe some damage in the intermissions, but I don't think it's relevant. Um, I think Arcane is good for the platforms if you need to do that mechanic. It's not great for mages to do it anyway, but it's probably the best spec at that. It's also got good intermission damage if you need that, but again, don't think it's super relevant. I did play Frost in our last rekill. I thought it was okay. I do recommend you play Fire though, because this is one of those bosses where you just need to live. Fire gives you a cheat death. You don't have to think about Frost uptime. You've got all that mobility. It's just very easy to play as Fire. So the range you start grips, trap spawn your players. You want to bait these in a dead area of the room since we don't use this room in any part of the phase. Um, Watch out for this line mechanic with the portals. The portal is part of the line. You'll see here I get clipped and lose my cauterize quite early on. Ring spawns are not random on Mythic. They will always spawn in the same patterns. So you go through, you get tank gripped, and you spread. Obviously, on Mythic, a big important thing is that getting tank gripped through a ring does not kill you. So one important thing to note about this spread mechanic we're playing right now is it takes a long time to jump around everyone, and traps go out while the mechanic is still jumping. So after it hits you, you should try and get into a good bait spot to minimize the amount of bad baits, because some baits that are bad are actually kind of unavoidable, as you'll see later. Like it can be a bit random sometimes, so just minimizing those is super important. You might get 2 rings in phase 1. If you do, it's whatever. Just play them. They're pretty simple. If you push the boss during rings, as you can see there, the rings do despawn. Tank mechanic doesn't, which is quite awkward for us. As arranged with a ranged kick, just make sure you look for a far ad and kick it in if you need to. You also want to stop this frontal on the acolytes. I think you can Dragon's Breath it, but it's much more productive to have a stun rotation on it. Honestly, this intermission was nowhere near as hard as I thought it was going to be. I thought we would need cooldowns for it, but it was pretty easy, honestly. Okay, so phase 2. Big important thing on this fight is that the number of rings increments each phase. So phase 2, we're going to be playing 2 rings. As you can see here, before the mechanic goes out, I'm still standing, back where we came from. You're going to move clockwise around the room on this boss, and I think just being able to bait a trap here, and if a trap spawns here, it's functionally non-existent because we're never going to come back to this part of the room. It's always using your mobility to make other people's lives easier, not just your own. So, 2 rings. You can see it comes from the middle first and then the outside. You essentially just play it exactly how you played the ring in phase 1, and you let the tank grip play the second. So you wait for the ring, you go through. Whenever these 2 rings overlap, our tank is going to Transcendence and we get gripped. You can just use the portal there, honestly. Using the Transcendence is quite fancy. It makes it a bit easier because you can go for sooner. But there's nothing wrong with using the portal. And then immediately back behind us to bait more traps. You always want those traps to spawn behind you. And yeah, that's phase 2. You play another set of double rings. With current DPS, you might be able to push this, but it might be a bit of a stretch. But yeah, just plan as if you're going to get the rings. One thing about using blink and alter time on the rings is obviously, you can blink and alter time over them. I recommend you don't plan to do that and you just use it as an oh shit button. The positioning of the portals and the tank grips are based around knowing where the raid is going to be at a given time, and if you're in a different spot, that can make things quite messy. Another thing to note is that while getting tank gripped over a ring does nothing, if you get tank gripped over a trap or a portal, you will still get trapped or portaled. So keep that in mind. Be aware of where the tank is. Aim your grip so that you don't get gripped over those things. Don't ask me why I'm not using my Sun King's Blessing proc here. I was reassigning the next portal grip because our warrior died to that frontal. Okay, phase 3. Same concept. As soon as the phase starts, just be a traps behind you. That's one of the most important things you can do as a mage, since just abuse that mobility. So again, now we're in phase 3. We're going to be dealing with 3 rings. So before the rings come out, how it works is you wait for the first ring to cross the first portal. You then go in. you get tank gripped back over the second ring, same way you did in the other phase, and then you just wait and play the third ring the same way you played the first ring. So it's pretty simple once you see it. So boss is casting the ring mechanic, get close to the portal. So you can see the portal that's star marked on the right. All I'm going to do is wait for that first ring to cross that portal. Then we're going to go through. We're going to wait for these two rings to collide with each other, and then tank's going to go through, get a script. And then usually you would wait and just do the exact same thing we did on the first ring. This got really sketchy, and I just decided to blink. The warning I gave earlier about not blinking during rings doesn't really matter on the last ring of each set because positioning doesn't really matter. You're not playing another ring after it anyway. So in this phase, you'll probably get another set of those rings. You might be able to push the boss before this ring. We found we were getting some really weird overlaps if we didn't wait for it. So you might encounter that, and you might need to just wait and play this ring. It's exactly the same, except there's no tank grip this time. So how this one works is you wait for the first ring to cross the portal, you go through, you watch the portal you came from. Once the ring crosses that, you go back, and then you're always watching the portal you're going to go to, and once the ring crosses it, you go through. As you can see here, now I'm going to wait for the ring to cross the portal on the purple marker, and then we'll go back in. Again, staring at the ring on the star marker, as soon as the portal crosses it, we go back in. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. It's pretty simple, as long as things don't sort of snowball and get out of hand. So we do plan to last at 6 minutes. Here, as soon as the boss transitions into phase 4, it's kind of at 6 minutes. Just lust as soon as the boss goes into phase 4. I think with current gear, you can really make this phase easy. People are going to die to rings as well in progress, so just lusting while everybody's still alive I think is quite valuable. So you now play 4 rings. So what happens is it's 2 from the middle and then 2 from outside. It doesn't alternate. So what you do is you place a ring, you place a portal in the middle, and you place a portal at max range. What you do is you dodge 2 rings with every portal. So you'll see here, first ring spawns in the middle, we go, and we're going to wait for the second ring to spawn. It will get quite close. This first ring is going to get quite close to us, but now you can see that second ring is now spawned. So we'll go through and we dodge both. And it's the exact same concept on the way back. The tank grip doesn't matter here. Some people go through early and die. So you can see there's 2 rings from the outside. Once the second ring has crossed the portal, we then go in and we dodge both. That's just how you play the rings in the last phase. It's, again, one of those mechanics that's a lot more complicated than it looks. Just stay calm, stay composed, and the mechanic is simple enough. You'll get through it. Hopefully, if your DPS is high, this video is before Unity. This is our progress kill. We have lots of people dead. You'll probably end up skipping the second ring in phase 3 and 4, which is quite nice, but it's good to know how to play them anyway. Again, tank mechanic, I probably shouldn't be standing this close to the tank, but I just want this boss to end. Its rings are coming up soon. So yeah, same thing. We go to the outside portal, we wait for 2 rings to spawn, and then we go in. I do alter time here for safety. I was kind of thinking, if I need to dodge a ring with alter time, it's good to have it already down, and then I just think, no, that's complete fucking nonsense, and I cancel it. But yeah. With people alive and with more gear, there's no way you'll get this. As for the boss, I thought the boss was kind of fun. It's a bit gimmicky. It's a bit frustrating to progress, especially if the groups that go over to the platforms don't kill the ads in time. It can be quite frustrating. But yeah, boss was okay. I do recommend you play fire on it. If you live, the boss will die. Don't really worry about damage. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check out my other boss videos, and I will see you in another one.